In the abyss today, or maybe on the other side of it, is a poem that I realized that I brought with me printed out to Spain. It must have been something I wrote right before I left, so this is February of last year. And it's called Where the Dark Wants to Be, and it seems fitting for the abyss because it gets to the other side of the abyss. It ends with love. It ends with a memory of these young boys who tended horses in a small town called Matiran, a red earth town where there were no cars. You would go on holidays and you would rent horses from these young horseboys who walked beside you or sometimes ran beside you when the horses galloped. So it's a longish poem, meaning it's 5 pages. I'm going to read the whole thing. It's called Where the Dark Wants to Be. There is a hollow where hope once was. And actually, that's a good thing because the hope was for someone who does not exist, not as I imagined him to be. He never was that person, and yet my longing filled in the blanks and rounded the broken bits into a shape that doesn't exist, not in flesh, but in that geometric plane. You know that one where a perfect isosceles triangle exists? There. He lived there, floating in geometric bliss, a spotlight, lauding the perfection, and honestly, I'm not bitter. As losses go in this pandemic, the loss of a geometric ideal is actually a blessing. Because I can say I lost something and not go on and on about how I had this pretty blissful year otherwise, of illumination and industriousness and hell, even travel. The purpose of why I am here is utterly clear to me. There is not a shard of idyllicness in the knowing. It is wrought. How I love that word, wrought. My sense of purpose is wrought with bones, skin, blood. And it is hard, but every day I commit no matter what to feels. And it is hard, but every day I commit no matter what. I commit to what feels true. Even in a sudden snow squall that wakes me up at 5 a.m., even when there is an emergency alert on the phone about it. Wind and rain lash the windows, the branch hits against the pane like the ghost of Kathy that night that Heathcliff couldn't sleep. But then the rain does stop and I fall asleep again, and when I awaken there is snow dust over red earth and prayer flags on the porch. The red chili ristra sways in the mountains with their valleys. They are so dear to me. They really can hold sorrow. And I invite all who want to, come, cede your grief to the mountains, to that green bowl-shaped valley, to the juniper and pinon, the sister shrubs of this place. They grow next to each other and shelter each other, and it is a lovely thing to see a pinon sapling in the shadow of a juniper. But wait, now I'm lost. Where did this begin? Oh yes, in the loss of hope and the man who filled the spot where the dark wants to be. There are certain hollows made for dark, the void, the night in my name. The embrace of what is not seen lives in the loss of hope. Do you see the emptiness has such promise? It has space for you to wake up even though there is a snow squall outside. Listen, get up, move the covers out of the way, sit up, give thanks to the stillness, stretch and bend into the sun, feel the body hum. Walk in soft socks to make tea. The ginger, the crushed lychee, the milk, stir in the smells of morning, and then sit in sight of the mountains. Sit at your seat of creating, rooting, loving, being just yourself is enough. And let me tell you, even though you won't believe it fully, but the story you have to tell will save you and the world. Even the isosceles triangle will leave her perfection to receive it. You who are broken, riven with longing and the mystery of snow squalls, get up now from your hollowness, from the hope that lives in the void. Walk the arroyo path, ever green, ever soft with sand, the shelter of junipers. Chalo, chalo, like your grandmother would say, let's go. Chalo, chalo, like the Ghodawalas would say in Mathiran. Brushing the flanks of the horse with the gesture you will remember even through a night of sudden snow squalls. They were young, those Ghodawalas, boys with a keen sense and friendship for horses. They would sleep with them in stables and rise at dawn and ride through the long, winding earthen roads of that village and have their own ecstasy of connection with wildness before the tourists arrived, before they became the hawkers of horses that kids like me came to see with their families. Listen, as you sit now, contemplating the mountains, remembering the hollow that began the morning, be the wildness of the Ghodawalas on their secret early morning rides. Be that, for goodness sake. Be at least that. Be only that.